Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video tutorial we're going to make a new animation. You see, in the previous tutorial we made a easy animation, and this one we're going to create offset and delay animation. And I don't have the code for this one. We are all going to create it together. What I have here is just the home screen where you click the button and then it will take you to the animation, and then you'll see the animation. So I just have here what you are seeing here, the screen you're seeing here. This is the code for it. So let me just go through. Okay, so here's where we are going to write a code for the animation. But this is just a stateful widget. There's nothing here again. I've not written in the code, so we are all going to write a code together. Okay, so to start animation in Flutter, you need a stateful widget because you're going to change value over time. And then also we need the animation object. So let's create the animation object. The reason is the animation object will just take in the value that we need to change over time. So it will take the beginning value and then the ending value, and it will change the value from the beginning to the end. You get what I'm saying? So you need the animation object. The animation object doesn't know any widget on the screen. It just changes value from from the beginning to the end, and it also has listeners that we can listen to whether the animation has started or whether the animation has completed. So that's the animation object. And we need the animation controller. And so let's create the animation controller, and the animation controller is used to control the animation object. So it's just basically used to control the animation. So whether the animation has the animation to start, reverse, stop, we use the animation controller to do that. So to initialize this object, we need the any state, and you know that the any state will be called anytime the widget is built on the screen. I mean, this widget that we pass here is built on the screen. Anytime we build the app, this init state method will be called. And so let's initialize our objects here, and then we can say animation is equal to tween. Yeah, so the animation object, the default value for the animation object is from 0.0 to 1.0. For us to change the ranging values, we use the tween. The tween simply means in between. So we are going to set two values, and the animation object will change this value from the beginning to the end. So we set the beginning, and then we need negative 1.0, and then end is 0.0. So what we are saying is that start changing values from negative 1 to 0.0, and then we need to animate. And here we set the curved animation. And then what this curve animation does, it set progression as a non-linear curve. So let me show you something here. I drew something here. So we have this this is just a simple graph I drew on the draw.io. And what this is a non-linear graph. Okay, so with this one, let's say we have values here, and then here is our time. So that means our values changes with time, right? But the change is constant. That's why we have a straight line here, right? That means our change is constant. So time value will change with time, and then it's like the change are always constant. But when you come to a non-linear curve, it is not a straight line. That means this at some point is so fast, and then at some point is so slow. So this is simply a non-linear curve. Okay, so with the curve animation, that means the animation can start so fast and then go slow and then start so fast again. So here we need to set a parent, and then the parent takes in the animation controller object that we created, animation controller. And then we also need to set the curve that we want to use. So we say curves dot fast out, slow in. I think when you hover your mouse on this, it should show you the curve actually, but then it didn't show. I wanted to see the graph, but I didn't show the graph. And also we need to initialize the animation controller. I think we should do it before the animation object. So animation controller is equal to animation controller. And then with this one too, we can set we can also set the duration of the animation. Say duration of the animation, we can set seconds. Let's say 1 second is okay. And then we need to pass the vsync. So vsync, let's say this, sorry. And then this we have to say, we have to make the class a missing class. So we have to say with single ticker provider state missing. Okay. Okay. With that one done, um, let's come into our body. I mean our main body of the page. So here we need to create a scaffold widget. Okay. And in the scaffold widget we need a body. But then let's create an bar. Say bar just to label the animation. So we set a title and then we say text and then we say offset and delay animation. Okay, so now the body, we need 3 containers, and then one container will be delayed and then the 2 containers will move ahead of the last container. So we need a column. First let's create a center widget to center the column source, and then we need a column. So what I mean, we need 3 containers. So let's just create container. Oh, sorry. The column widget takes in children. So we need to set that one. Then before we can set our container. So we can say height and then say 20.0, and then I think the width should be 120. That will be okay. And then we can set the color to colors dot fluorescent. Okay. Okay. So let's go to the main.dat file, and then let's um, let's make sure that when you click the button it opens to that page. So let's say navigator dot of context dot push. Then we need a material page route, and in that we need a builder, and then sorry, uh, build context, and then it's offset delay. The class name is offset delay. Okay, so with this one when we click on the button it will open the page. Okay. Okay, so you can see our first container is up there. So let's make sure that we set the main axis alignment of the container to center. Main axis alignment of the container to center. So that's the first container we have. Because we need 3 containers, I think I'll create a function to return this container instead of copying and paste in the same code. I'll just create a function to return a widget. So build container, and then I say return this container. Okay. Oh, okay. So this widget will return, this function or method will return the container that we want. So I can just put this one here and say build container. So if you want thread, then we can just copy the method and the paste. Okay, then we need some space between them. I think I'll do that here. Just set a margin, say margin edge inset. We need a margin at the bottom, so edge inset dot only, and then set bottom, so just 3, and that'll be okay, or even 2. So we don't need a lot of space. So we have our 3 containers here. So now to animate this, we need to wrap these 3 containers in animated builder, and then we can start our animations on them. Okay, so first, first let's surround the first container with the animated builder. So animated builder, and then and then we can say child should be, sorry, not a child, I want the animation first, and then say animation, and then we can set a builder here, and this one we can say build context, and then we can pass in the child. Okay, so here we can return the method for the container. If you save and refresh this, it looks the same. Okay, so here now, because our first container is surrounded with the animated builder, we can just animate it. But also I want to put this one in a transform widget. And then this transform widget, what it does is it will take in, let me show you something here. I created a diagram here. So the transform widget, that what we are going to use, the transform widget can give you it can help you translate your object or your widget on the x-axis or on the y-axis or on the z-axis. So we are actually going to use the transform widget. So let's say transform, and then we can say child. It will take in the child, the widget to transform. And then what we are going to, it also has a transform parameter we need to pass in the transform. And we are going to use the metrics for dot translation values, and you can see it takes in the x, y, z axis. We are going to only use the x, we don't need the y and then z, because we are going to translate the object or the container on just the x axis. So we just put this one as to 0.0 or to 0.0, and then we will deal with this one later. But then let's first get the full width of the screen. Say final double device width, so, and then let's say media query. To get a full width of the screen, we need a media query dot of context dot size dot width. Okay, so now we have that one. So what we can do is, we know the animation object will return the value. We can get the value that the animation object is generating from the beginning to the end. So we can say animation dot value times the device width. Yeah, so if you don't know what this is going to do, the animation object will return a particular value at any point in time. You see, we set a duration of 2 seconds. So within these 2 seconds, the animation object will change value from the beginning. The beginning value is given is negative 1.0. It will try to change value over time from negative 1.0 to the end. So this will bring, let's say, negative 0.99 times the divided with, let's assume, is 360. So it will get to a point that this animation value will return what is 0.0, and then the device 0.0 times the device weight will also be 0.0. So it will come to a point that the x-axis of the transform will be 0.0. 0.0, and then it will stop at the middle. So what I mean is, let's assume it will start from here, which will be negative 360. It will move and then come to end at the center of the screen. Here will be like 0.0. So it will start from negative 360, assuming the full width of the screen is negative 3 is 360. So then it will start from negative 360 up to 0.0, and then it will end exactly at the center of the screen. Okay, so this one, I think we can start the animation. So to actually start the animation, we need animation controller dot forward. Remember I told you the animation controller is used to start the animation. So I think we can save this. Okay, I can't even see that one because of the transform. So let's go back and then start. You see now the first container moved from the left of the screen and then came to the center. So I think we can do that for the rest. So we can simply just copy, because we want the same for the rest. Copy and then paste here, and then also paste for the last container. But then we are going to deal with the last container later. But then let's make them all animate the same way we want. Okay, so now to actually know when they stop, because we also want to move them from the center to the right, so you also have to listen to when the animation stops. And then, so let's see, on the animation we can say that add status listener to actually listen to when the animation completes. So we've already done this in the past, but then I think we can still do it. So if status, because animation status dot completed. So what we are saying is, if the animation has completed, if the animation is at the center, then we want to do something else. What we want to actually do is to make sure the animation controller is reset, so that we can set a new value to the animation. So we can say animation equals twin. We are going to need the same thing, just that we are going to change the value. So let me just copy from here and then paste. I don't want to write a lot of code here. So set a new value to the animation object, and this time we are saying begin from let's begin from 0.0, exactly where this ended, and then go to 1.0. Okay, so when that one is done, we can just animate it. So let's say animation controller dot forward, just to start this one too. So I think we can do that. So let's go back and then start the animation and see. And then it moves out of the screen. Okay, forget about that one, we'll fix that one later. So the only difference here we want is the last container. We want the last container to delay by, let's say, 0.2 seconds. So we want the animation, the last container to delay by 0.2 seconds. So what we are going to do is to create another animation object which will control the last one. So let's create another animation object. Say animation late animation, something like this, and then we have to also initialize that animation. So let me initialize it just here. So we can say late animation, and then we can say tween. And with this one, we are going to begin exactly like what we did for the first one. Let me just copy, because it's also going to have the same value for, it's also going to have the same tween value. So let's just copy that one and then paste it here. But the only difference is instead of returning the curve here, we are not going to return the curve here. We are rather going to return an interval which will help us to stop the animation. So the interval widget or component will actually help us to delay an animation. So this will take in the beginning and then the end too, and then we can return the curve that we want. So let's say fast and fast. Okay, so this one is there. So now we can use that animation here on the last one. So late animation dot value. Mm, okay, okay, we can save this one and let's see how this one behaves. You see, the last one was lagging. I mean, it delayed. Look at the last one, it delayed. So let's also listen in where we listen to when the animation complete. We can go back and then write. So we set a new value to the first animation object, right? So we can also set a value to the late animation object so that it continue to lag and then move out of the screen. And then we can set, let me just copy this one and just change the value. Mm, okay, so with this one too, we have to change the value from 0, 0.0 to 1.0, just like this one, because we are moving out of the screen. Okay, and then this time let's check, control save, and then let's run the application again. We see, okay, forget about this one. So now when this is done, we want to move, I mean, pop the page and then come back to the home screen. So we can add listeners. So add status listeners. Mm, you can say if status listener, if status is animation status dot completed, then we can pop out of the screen and then say navigator dot of contest dot pop. So that's it. So let's see. So now we are done. We are done with the animation. So that's it. There's nothing else to do. So this is the offset and delay animation. You can see the last container is delayed by I think 0.2 here. So that's it. That's it for this tutorial, guys. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe.